in this video we're going to be doing quadratic inequalities, so please pay attention to these ones because you're going to do them in grade 12 also, so it's really important that you understand each and every step on how to do them, right? And then you'll be fine with your grade 12. So yeah, please note this is grade 11 work, by the way, hence you are watching. So x squared minus 2x minus 3 is greater or equals to 0, right? Let's say you have this inequality problem and we are asked to solve for x, right? The first thing you need to do is you need to factorize, right? Why? Because this is the standard form of equation, so you just factorize. So you're going to put in your factors, so you have x and x, which are the factors of x squared, and then factors of this minus 3 here, which will give you the middle term, is your 3 and 1, right? Where this would be negative and this would be positive. Greater or equals to 0, right? Then from here, you're going to identify your critical values. So your critical values are x plus 1 equals to 0. Let me just write it properly. So it's equals to 0, or x minus 3 equals to 0. Right, and you transpose this 1 to the other side, transpose this minus 3, you have x is equals to minus 1, or x is equals to 3. So these are your critical values. Then from here, you go to your number line, you draw your number line, and then you indicate your critical values, right? So your critical value, you have a critical value of minus 1 and your critical value of 3, right? So I'm just going to indicate that these are critical values. Then from here, what you do is you're going to test. What do I mean by that? You're going to test a value before your critical value of minus 1, which can be minus 2 or minus 3, any value. You'll test this value, and you'll test a value between your critical values, which can be 2. You'll test a value after your critical value, which can be 4, 5, 6. It's just up to you which one you choose, right? So what do I mean by this? Remember the standard form of equation. I'm just going to write it down here. The standard form of equation is x squared minus 2x minus 3 is greater or equals to 0, right? So you're going to test this value here, you test this value here, you test this value here, right? And see if we are mostly interested in the sign, you see. So which sign does these values give you when you substitute them in the equation? So let's say, for example, you substitute x equals to minus 2. Want to know the y value, right? The sign of that y value. So we're going to substitute this inside this equation here. So we're going to have minus 2 whole squared minus 2 into minus 2 minus 3, right? And I'm not just going to write down the answer because that's not really important. What's important is to identify the sign, right? Which you will get a sign of a positive. Please check. The sign of that number is going to be positive. But anyways, let me just do it so that everyone else understands what you're doing here. So I'm just punching through my calculator to get the answer for this. I'm getting an answer of 5, right? So I'm getting 5 as the answer, and 5 is positive, right? So just indicate your positive sign. So what this means is any value less than your critical value of minus 1 is positive, right? So you're just going to indicate your positive sign like this here, right? And then you test for this value now. You're going to test for these two. You are done with this one here. So you're going to test for these two now. So let me just erase here. So testing for 2, you do the same step. Please, if you don't understand, ask me. When x is equals to 2 now. So now we're trying to check when x is equals to 2. So you substitute. It's going to be 2 squared minus 2 into 2 minus 3. So what does your calculator give you? So I'm literally punching as we speak so that we get the exact answer. So I'm getting an answer of minus 3. So it means now that because I'm getting a sign of minus, it means now that values, the y values are negative between these critical values. So they are negative, hence you put in a negative sign. So I'm just circling out so that you can see. You don't have to do that. So now I'm just going to test values after this critical value of 3. So I'm going to test 4 now, right? Doing the same thing, by the way. So meaning here, you're just going to substitute 4, right? So it's going to be 4, it's 4, it's 4. And then what answer are you getting? I'm just literally punching my calculator as we speak to identify the answer. So I'm getting 5 as the answer. I hope you're getting the same thing. So I'm getting 5, which is positive, by the way, right? So it means now that like any value that is above 3 as the critical value is going to be positive, right? So then once you are done with doing this will help you identify your final solutions, right? The reason why I'm going up is I want us to conclude, but we're going to conclude here on this small space because I want us to look at this equation here and this number line, right? So the question says that for which values of x will your y values be greater or equal to 0? So this is what it means. Y values be greater or equal to 0. So what it means is your y values must be positive. When your y values are positive, because anything greater than 0 is positive. When your y values are positive, what are your solutions of x? That's what it means. Where are our y values positive? Here and here. You're going to use your critical values to conclude that, right? So what you're going to do is this. You're going to say when x is less than the critical value, less than or equals to, because the inequality is greater or equals to, less than or equals to minus 1, I'm getting a solution that is positive. Or when x is greater or equals to 3, which is another critical value here, I'm getting a sign that is positive. So these are your final solutions of x for this problem here. If you didn't understand, please let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, I'm just going to do another problem and hopefully it'll make sense now, right? So what we have here is minus x squared plus 6x less than 9, right? I'm going to transpose this 9 to the other side. I'm going to get minus x squared plus 6x minus 9 is less than 0, right? And then from here, you're having a negative here, which really affects the equation. So you want to get rid of this negative. And remember that when you divide an inequality with a negative number, the inequality sign changes. So instead of being less than, it's going to change to become greater than now. So you're going to have x squared minus 6x plus 9 is greater than 0. And then from here, this is the standard form of equation, right? This is the standard form of equation. So you're just going to factorize and say greater than 0. And then you find the factors of x squared, which is x and x. Factors of 9 such that they give you the middle term is 3 and 3, right? So you're going to put negative and negative. Then from here, you just find your critical values. Don't forget, critical values is going to be x minus 3 is equal to 0, or x minus 3 is equal to 0. So x equals to 3, or x is equal to 3. So from here, you're going to present your critical values in a number line, right? Which in this case, we only have 1 because it's just common. X equals to 3. So we're going to put 3. So this is your critical value, right? And then you're going to test values that are less than 3, which can be 2, or it can be 1. So this is 2, by the way. Or you can test values that are greater than 3, which is 4. Test those values. How do you test? Remember, your standard form of equation is x squared minus 6x plus 9, right? Greater than 0. So you're gonna substitute when x is equals to 2. What are you getting? Right? And what I'm mostly interested in, I'm interested in the sign, as I said again. So I'm just gonna substitute when x equals to 2 and see what am I getting as the solution. So what I'm getting here is minus 1, right? So I'm getting minus 1, which it's actually a negative. So any value that is less than 3 will give you a solution that is negative, right? And please do confirm that. Actually, it's not negative. Just made a mistake in my calculator. I need to put in a squared. So I'm getting positive 1 actually. So it's positive 1. Thank you so much if you saw that. So I'm getting a positive 1, which means now that actually sign here must be positive. Please check for x being equals to 4 in your calculator. Substitute it here, and tell me what you're finding, right? Just by doing the same thing with you, I'm also finding a positive sign of 1, right? I'm getting a solution which is plus 1. So it means now that also here your solutions of y are positive. So now once you find the signs on your number line, you're going to interpret and say, what are the values of x? Because remember the question says that you're having this, you want to identify the values of x when the inequality is greater than 0. So anything that's greater than 0 is positive. So you conclude by that. So in this case, there is your positive and there is your positive. Use your inequality sign to conclude. So therefore, you're going to say x must be less than 3 for you to get this positive sign. Or x must be greater than 3 for you to get this positive sign. Right? I hope it makes sense, and you guys are understanding how I'm doing it, right? And if it didn't, please let me know in the comment section below. You'll be more than welcome to assist you in whatever you are facing, whatever problem you're facing with this. So please try out these problems. Whenever we do an exercise, we try out some problems. Try out this one, x squared plus 2x plus 1 greater than or equal to 0, and try out this one of x squared plus 1 is greater than 0, and x squared plus 8x plus 16 is less than, so it's less than or equals to 0. Try out these 3 problems. Let me know in the comment section what are you finding, and if you're facing any challenges, I will be more than welcome to assist you. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, suggestions, or comments, please write them down in the comment section below. Otherwise, please subscribe to the channel and don't forget to click that bell button.